Hey, how do you feel about some high rarity cards, or maybe some foreign ones, or maybe be ahead of the game with others by preparing for future set releases with very quick shipping? Check out EJ Gaming and use code British5 on checkout for 5% off on all your orders. Link in the description.
Greetings duelists and welcome to another video. So we are 1 week into the new format. The format has been updated on the 25th. Our first YCS is going to happen right around this weekend, which is Dortmund. And this week is very experimental. Like, a lot of people are still figuring out like what decks are very ideal for major events. And very soon we're going to have reveals from Age of Overlord, meaning that the format is just going to shape up again and is going to be a little bit more different. I figured I'd take this week just to show you some experiments that I have been working with, and one of them is this one. So, for people who know and understand, the Red Dragon structure deck has been revealed, and with it came like Resonator support that goes in hand with the Labyrinth archetype. I tried the Resonator build in Labyrinth, and I've thought about the theory that goes along with it, but I figured that it really does not fix the issues that Labyrinth already has. It doesn't really bolster the ceiling that much outside of just giving it another engine. And it has a little bit of synergy with their spell and traps, but I kind of wanted a little bit more than that. And I thought about like the old Labyrinth build that just played one Sharvara and one Escape. I told myself, what's stopping me from actually playing like a bigger Unchained package? Like, what's stopping me from playing this as an actual like Unchained deck with just Labyrinth cards in it? And I kind of just wanted to explain the theory behind of it. I kind of wanted to showcase like one or two solo games and just showcase some scenarios that come with it. And at the end of the day, this is not like the best build of Labyrinth. It's not the best build of Unchained. However, there are some really neat tricks and then scenarios that you can perform with this deck that you cannot do in a typical Labyrinth deck or a typical Unchained deck. But yeah, without further ado, let's begin. For starters, you have Ariana. In the regular Unchained build, you play Tour Guide and Rhino. And the Rhino Warrior will give you an extra benefit because you can dump the Charvara and you can just have a little bit of your engine rolling. But I really like Ariana because Ariana is one of those monsters where the bigger your Labyrinth hand is, the stronger Ariana becomes. Like, in the absolute worst case scenario, the Ariana can grab me like Lady Labyrinth, and I can extend these two into like the Unchained Soul Lord of Yama. And in the off chance that I opened Aruha or I opened Charvara, I can just like grab the Yama and just grab whichever one I'm missing out of those two and start comboing off with both monsters and just like siphoning through my spell and traps. If I already have Charvara in hand, it's even better because it means that I get access to my spell and traps a lot quicker. And something really cool is that, like, let's say you actually opened other Labyrinth cards. You opened like the big welcome or the regular welcome or one of the finishers. You can just grab whatever else you need from the Labyrinth perspective and just start comboing off with your Labyrinth cards. Like, if you open big welcome, for example, you can just grab the Ku Clock, and the Ku Clock can make it so you can flip the big welcome and you can start doing like your ideal Labyrinth plays. If you open the Lady Labyrinth alongside her, you can grab like one of the spell and traps and just have her siphoning to other traps in your deck, like the Unchained ones, for example. Like, absolute worst case scenario, you can just grab the Labyrinth and this makes it so you can special summon fiend monsters whenever you're flipping like your non-labyrinth traps. So if you end up flipping like chamber or escape, you can use this and just start like summoning your other fiend monsters, um, and just keep cycling through your deck that way. So this is like another dimension that is added to like the labyrinth strategy. I mean, to the Unchained strategy as a whole. And yeah, I'm maxing out on all the finishers. The finishers are really cool in this deck because in the options you open like blue dog and red dog, you can dump them to the graveyard with the finishers, and now you can have extra utility and resources for them. Like in the options, like you have Charvara and Labyrinth, you can dump them both and just set two spell and traps. So you can end up setting Chamber and then setting like a Welcome Labyrinth or a big Welcome, and that will just be like a pseudo starter that can extend through a lot of plays on your opponent's turn. If you have a finisher and like Shiyama, for example, you can dump the Shiyama. You can set like a big welcome, for example, then pop the big welcome, summon the Shiyama, and then just summon another Unchained, and just keep going, like so on and so forth. I only play one Cooklock. Pure Labyrinth builds play multiple of these. I think the only value Cooklock has is if you open it alongside a finisher. So, like, if you don't open a finisher, the Cooklock is just significantly weaker. If you open it alongside Ariana, it's really, really strong. But in that case, you can just add it with Ariana. Another really cool thing about this deck is that if you open your Unchained Spell and Traps, and you open Ariana, you can Ariana, grab the Cooklock, and then just flip your Unchained Spell and Traps immediately on the spot. Like, if you have a chamber and then you have like another Unchained in hand, you can just keep extending that way, and so on and so forth. So yeah, that you have to max out on. I think the finishers are just like the really strong thing that makes Labyrinth like very strong. It solidifies your grind game. It just like it guarantees a lot of plays. Two ladies, one lovely. If you're playing Labyrinth, you're playing these. Like, no real explanation here. Something really, really cool is that with Lovely Labyrinth, you can keep resetting your Unchained Spell and Traps. So you have extra value out of them after you just keep using them. You don't have to just rely on Sorama for just setting these cards. Now we go to an Unchained portion. It's pretty much standard. The only thing you're not going to notice here is that there's no Rakea. Rakea really doesn't have a value in this deck. Like the only real value of Rakea is if you're doing like full Unchained plays like left and right, and you're not really like dedicating yourself with the Unchained plays outside of what it's already standard. So yeah, that's one thing on that regard. So Abominable Unchained Soul is extra strong in this deck because it's a monster that can make big welcome and interruption. So like in the options, you control the Unchained Soul. You can, something really cool that I have done in the past is where I end up summoning this Unchained Soul. I end up discarding the big welcome Labyrinth, and then I chain the big welcome Labyrinth just to bounce another card. So basically it turns the Unchained Soul into two interruptions in one card, which is very, very strong. Pretty much the rest is kind of standard. I am maxing out on all the traps. Being like normal traps means that I can reset something else with Lady Labyrinth. It means that I can reset them with the Lovely Labyrinth. Like, it just has a lot of innate synergy. Escape has more synergy in this deck than in the regular Unchained build because it triggers your finishers, it triggers your Ariana, it triggers your like Lovely Labyrinth as well. So that's like a really, really strong thing about this deck. I chose to main deck Skill Drain. One other card I was playing in this deck was Ice Dragon's Prison. I think this card is going to be really, really strong this format. If you're playing like Labrynth, no matter what build you're playing, you should really, really, really consider this card. Like, it really strong against Unchained, it's strong against the Labrynth Mirror Match, it's strong against like decks like Rescue Ace. Just to give you like one example, like it's strong against Purely as well. Like, I really, really recommend this card if you can fit it in your deck. I kind of wanted to stay at 40, and I kind of wanted to like just test out the regular ratios of all the Unchained cards. That's why I just strictly stuck with just Imperm as non-engine. Imperm and Skill Drain. Skill Drain is really strong in this deck because in the off chance you want to turn off your Skill Drain, you can do it. Like just having it set and have it pop with Chiyama. You can use Escape and just pop the actual Skill Drain itself. Skill Drain really doesn't hurt you like at all. Like, it hurts the Link monsters, but it really doesn't hurt like your main Unchained monsters. And like the Labrynth monsters are just way too big. Like, you're just going to keep snowballing advantage in this deck, like left and right. So as in a deck like this one, Skill Drain is like kind of more than welcomed. Only to welcome Labrynth. A lot of Labrynth players have already been doing this. I opted to just stick it to this formula. You have enough cards to like just grind and out resource your opponent. You notice how there are no pots in this deck. You can play pot cards if you wish, but to this moment, I have not found a need for them. Something that's really cool about this deck is that a lot of players are citing like anti-spell fragrance, and anti-spell fragrance really doesn't do anything in this deck, like against this deck. Like, you're not playing any spells outside of Abomination's Prison, so like in you can even make the consensus of main deck in this card, and like in the worst case scenario, just pitch it for a Labrynth. So for extra deck, a lot of stuff are standard. I'll talk about the non-standard stuff. You have Linkuribo and Linkuribo. This is just because of Cool Clock. This is just here because of Ibly. And another thing that I guess is not standard is 2 Muckracker. I really like the second one. I think that in a deck like this one, this card is just really, really strong. Just re-summoning Chaos Angel is like one thing you can do with this card. Re-summoning back your Yamas and triggering their effects is something you can do as well. Like making it so you can get closer to summoning stuff like Griffin is really, really, really strong. Yeah, I don't regret this choice at all. One card I thought about was playing like the other Nightmare monsters, but I feel like with the utility behind Escape and behind like stuff like Big Welcome and stuff, you really don't need cards that remove like cards. You have enough of those in your arsenal. Another thing is Chaos Angel is really, really strong in this deck because you can bring him back with Muckracker, you can make it with a bomb and like a furniture. You can bring it, it works with Big Welcome Labyrinth. Like, really, really strong card. Highly, highly recommend it. But yeah, that's kind of it. It's really cool that you can make Goddess in this deck. This deck can vomit a lot of monsters real easily, so you can play something like Goddess in your deck. So that kind of works. Another card that I've been testing, at least in the side deck, is Trap Tracks. You can reset it with your ladies, with the Labyrinth monsters. You can use your Unchained monsters and just have them used as fodder. It kind of tutors into any of your other trap cards. And you have we have 1, 1, and 1. It really depends on the matchup. Like if you're against a spell heavy deck, Eradicator is strong. You already know. Against, you can also play this against the mirror match. Against Purely, etc. Tear Elements is another deck that will make this card like be played a lot more. Branded Chimera. Um, with graveyard centric decks popping up on the format again, I think this card is really strong. Like I think it kind of hurts your Unchained plays, but it does not hurt your Labyrinth plays. So if this card can silver bullet your opponent and just stop them from playing the game, like it's only for one turn, like it's a lot of value. And then like we have other stuff. These are like just standard side deck stuff. I'll talk about these. I think if you're playing furnitures in your deck, you should really side deck these. Really strong against tier, really strong against other decks. But yeah, like there's not a lot I have to say when it comes to this deck. Like we can try test hands and just show you like stuff that you can do. Like for example, you have Chandelier and you have this. So this is really strong. Like now you can just set the welcome, you set the escape. You can set these two. And now you can activate the Lady Labyrinth. She can summon herself. With a bomb prison, you can add Aruha, for example. Let us grab Aruha. Any Unchained monster works, but I mentioned Aruha because I do have not special summoned yet. You can set Aruha effect, pop, Aruha special, chamber triggers. You can summon Chiyama. You can link away these two. You can make the Lord of Yama. You can activate the effect, and I would, in this case, I would just grab Charvara back to our hand, and like you can keep going if you want. Like you can Chiyama, pop the Yama effect, and like link away into other stuff. You can link away the Lady Labyrinth, but in your turn, now this is just significantly stronger. Something you can do is Charvara, pop this, and then in your opponent's turn, you can big welcome, like Chain the Lovely, set something else. You can set like it really depends on the matchup, but you can just set like a chamber, for example, and then you can like summon Ku Klux, grab back to hand. This goes to grave. This is set. You can trigger the Chandelier. The Chandelier goes back to your hand. You can trigger the Ku Klux effect. Then you can chamber. You can bring back something like Aruha, for example. And then you can escape, pop Aruha, and then summon a bomb. You can have bomb effect, discard, and yeah, that's just like a lot of things that you can do that are just outside of the dimension of just playing Labyrinth. This is an awkward hand, but this one also works. You just activate this, summon the lady, and just set 3. Like, and now in your opponent's turn, you can just like flip one of the labyrinths, flip her effect, and just like set something else. You already set the chamber. Like you can just set the escape, for example, and just have it for like next turn, for example. You can summon Ariana, Lovely, and do like the entire labyrinth setup. and you have no access to your Unchained place just yet. But once you get to some Lord King Yama, that's like the venture for like the Unchained place. Another awkward hand, but it works. You just dump Chiyama for like the Chandelier. You can set like, let us set Big Welcome, and now you can set Escape, pop it with Chiyama, use Chiyama's use Escape's effect, just summon from the deck. We can just summon the Charvara. This goes to the bottom, this goes to the graveyard. You can summon the Unchained Soul of Yama. The Yama and Charvara both trigger. We popped Escape, so we're going to set Chamber. Or we can do something different. Did we Charvara's turn? We did not. You can now Charvara, pop the Chamber, and then the Chamber will trigger, and Chamber can summon like Sarama. But yeah, that's kind of about it. Like, I just wanted to show like all the different stuff you can do with this deck. It's very soon to tell if something like this will kick off, but I really like theorizing like decks like this one. I think like under the right hands with like the right build and like the right ratios, something like this can work in a format that we're in, like this one. It's very, very, very soon to tell, but that's about it. That's it from me. Until then, keep practicing and keep dueling.